Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is I'm not even going to say super, I'm going to say uber exciting because I have all of the tea, all of the information, all of the shade names for this year's Hourglass Holiday Palettes collection, one of the highlights of the makeup calendar, at least in this house. So if you want to take a look at these together, see what shades there are, see what shades are brand new in these palettes and which are re-promoted shades that we've seen 100 times, as well as all of my thoughts, which palettes I'm most excited for and how I think this will all go down, then you've come to the right place. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's just apologise for the light today because stuff has started to move. You guys know I'm moving fairly soon. Stuff has started to move, so things like blinds and things like that are moving around and the sun is like in and out today. So if I suddenly go very, very bright and then very, very dark, I'm so sorry. No one's more annoyed than me. So as you guys will probably know if you've been here before, if you haven't been here before, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'd love to have you as a permanent member. So if you enjoy this video, please subscribe and stick around because we are a lovely, friendly bunch, I promise. And if someone's not friendly to you, let me know, you know. But if you have been here before, you would know that I am a big fan of these Hourglass palettes. I've got 15 at least. I'm not counting them because I'd rather not know the exact number, but I have a lot of these palettes on my desk in front of me, and I also have a spreadsheet because I am one of these people who just loves a spreadsheet and I don't really get to do a fun spreadsheet very much in this job that I have now. So I love to keep a spreadsheet of where these shades have come from. Are they new? What palettes have they been in before? And that's very helpful information because I now have all of the shade information for these palettes that we have now seen leaked by Trendmood on Instagram. But Trendmood didn't have the scoop first. She's just the only one who can get away with posting these leaked images. But two of my amazing friends over on Instagram, starting off with Amit Beauty Talk, who sent me the tea about these palettes weeks ago. And these photos actually come from the amazing Dora. Again, both of these amazing women over on Instagram who have incredible beauty news sneak peeks and all of the tea before anybody else, daren't post these images on their feed because both of them have had their accounts deleted before. But because Trendmood is such a huge account, that doesn't happen to her. Very annoying. But these photos that Trendmood posted are in fact Dora's photos, and Dora has all of the shade information as well, which she has shared with me so kindly so that I can share it with you. So please support Dora and Amit, who are always working very hard to give us the hot piping makeup tea before anybody else, against all the odds because they keep having their accounts deleted. Now, before anyone has an absolute panic attack, because why are we seeing holiday collections in July? Why would that be? Don't panic, okay? It's not quite Christmas in July. These aren't released yet, okay? I typically usually expect to see these palettes in September, which is also about 3 months too early, some would say, but they do tend to drop around September. In the makeup world, much like the fashion world, we do tend to see releases come like almost a full season ahead of like what their season is supposed to be. So usually these palettes drop around September time. That's when we will see them. We don't have a confirmed date yet. They are always limited edition, and in recent years they have been gone quite quickly and never come back. So believe it when they say limited edition, because they certainly seem to mean it. One more thing, side note, before we jump into the details of these palettes, is the customizable option. So in previous years when we've had these artwork palettes with the different artwork options, we've also had the option to mix and match the color stories in the palettes, so you could get the horse cover, like packaging design with the fox color story. I would expect that to be an option again this year because it has been for the last few years. I'm not sure why they would change it. It's very popular. People love to do that. So I do expect that to be an option again this year, but that hasn't been confirmed yet because all of this is unofficial information. At this point, it hasn't come from Hourglass, it's come from a leak. cheeky. The other consideration here is, will we see Hourglass for these holiday £6 palettes give us a fully customizable option like they just did with their £4? Will they give us an option to choose our own colour story, pick our own shades and powders, and fully customize and design our own £6 palette? I don't know. I don't know. I really wish, hope and pray that they will, because that was incredibly popular when they did it with the £4. They sold out very, very quickly. That was only an option in the US. I would love to think we're going to get that as an option worldwide for the holiday £6, but I don't think it's going to be. If I had to put money on whether I think it will or won't, I'd say it won't, just because of the scale. You know, there's going to be so many options here, and I just don't think they've yet found a way to manage that. It seemed like the customizable palettes took a lot longer to ship. They sold out very quickly. They clearly did like a small batch test of how popular it was. Perhaps that was for holiday, to test the waters and do that bigger and better for holiday, but I think it's too close. I don't know if they would have had time to massively improve the skin, scale up with that process. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if we'll see that as an option. I really, really hope that we will, but my money would be on that we won't. So we know that the Deer, Horse and Fox palettes are coming for holiday 2025, but I have seen a fourth palette. So these images of a Swan palette are on Reddit currently. This user posted these pictures on Reddit, said that it was going around like the makeup community, sort of some WhatsApp groups or something. These images, that no one has seen this palette before. There is some kind of mixed thoughts on whether this was a previous like really limited edition, maybe an Asian exclusive palette one year, but I feel like if that was the case, we would have seen it. It would have been out there already. The design, the artwork on the front very much looks in line with these other Horse, Fox and Deer palettes from this year. It looks a very similar style. A lot of people think that these images are AI designs. I very much hope that's not the case, because previously Hourglass has worked with an artist for these palettes, so I would hate to see them, you know, deviate from that and go down the route of using AI art and not using artists and supporting real life humans over a computer. So this design is, we don't know, all of the other images, the leaked images we've seen, these three palettes, what is the deal with Swan? So I have the shade names that are in that palette too. I'm going to include it here because it seems like it's probably the fourth palette from this year. And I think, you know, we've had three palettes the last few years. Maybe we'd like to see a fourth. The more the merrier. So I am going to include the information from Swan, but just know that we're not 100% sure at this moment whether that is the fourth palette from this year or it's some other like unicorn of a palette that was from a previous year that no one ever saw. Okay, so let's take a look at the three palettes artwork that we know are coming. And this, again, these images are all courtesy of our lovely friend Dora, who has allowed me to use them for this video. So here we have the Fox, Deer and Horse palettes. Lots of people not loving this packaging. I neither love nor hate it, to be honest. It's fine. I personally preferred when we used to do like the more plain gold, this doing just a little boob polish there. This is the Sculpture palette when we used to just have the very chic luxe, you know, more clean, just plain packaging. I do like some of the designs of these. I think Dragon was one of my favorites. I think that's really pretty to look at, but it doesn't sort of, for me, make or break how much I like a palette with this artwork. I'm not overly sold on the artwork of these one way or another. It doesn't put me off. It doesn't sort of make me want to buy something I'm not that interested in without the packaging. A lot of people not loving it, a lot of people thinking it's AI, but who knows. I will say I think the Swan is probably my favorite of the four if she is a real palette. Who knows? So let's take a look at each of these palettes individually and the shades inside, and let's discover together whether these shades are brand new or something we have seen a million times before. I have a list, like I said, I have a spreadsheet. It's not foolproof, so please let me know if I make a mistake, correct me in the comment section down below. This is by my thoughts and what I believe to be true. So let's kick off with the Dear palette. So in the Dear palette, we have Dream Light Powder. That is a finishing powder, and that has been previously available in several places, including Dragon Palette and the Dream Edit. We then have Aura Light Powder, so two of the finishing powders in this palette. Aura Light is a brand new shade of finishing powder for this palette. We then have Diffused Bronze Light, that's the bronzer in the palette. This is a permanent shade, a standalone single bronzer shade that you can buy from Hourglass as a single. It has also been in previous palettes as well. We then have Iridescent Strobe Light, that is the highlighter. That is again a single standalone highlighter, permanent shade from Hourglass. We then have Radiant Peach Blush, which is brand new for this palette, and Vibrant Pink Blush, which is brand new for this palette. So there are 3 new shades in here and 3 existing shades. The new shades being Aura Light, Radiant Peach Blush, and Vibrant Pink Blush. So this palette's kind of like a moderate like for me. I like that we've got some new blush shades. Blush is my favourite, and it does have my favourite all-time Hourglass bronzer. So there's a lot of good about this palette, but I don't like that we've got 2 finishing powders and those 3 re-promoted shades. So it's okay, could be better. Moving on to the Horse palette, and the biggest disappointment of this entire collection, because every shade in here is a re-promoted previous shade that we have seen in lots of different places. So everything in here we've seen before, we've had it before in palettes. So kicking us off, we have Soft Light, one of the most popular shades to include in these palettes. That has been in Elephant, Evil Eye, and other palettes before. We then have Mood Exposure Blush. This is again a single permanent shade of blush from Hourglass, and it has also been in many palettes previously. We then have Supernatural Strobe Light. This was seen in the 2021 holiday palettes, the ones with the marble packaging that I skipped that whole year on because I was just infuriated with them at that point. We then have the Iridescent Coral Blush, which was in Elephant, the Iridescent Rose Blush, which has been in Leopard and Tiger, and we have Glistening Bronze Light, which was also in that same 2021 palettes, the marble cover, which I'll just pop up to remind you there. So all of these shades have been seen before. That being said, if you just look at this for what's in there, I think this is a gorgeous palette. It's got really usable, everyday friendly shades in here. I think if you don't own a lot of these Hourglass palettes, then it's a great palette for a light medium to medium skin tone. It's got the right balance for me, a highlighter, 3 blushes, a bronzer and a powder, which, you know, probably I would kick out the powder and replace it with either another highlighter or a blush, but I do love that we've got 3 blushes. So this is like a perfect layout for me, and I do love the included shades. They're all beautiful, all really wearable. Every day you're going to get a lot of use out of this. So I think this will be worth it for you if you don't have a huge amount of Hourglass palettes. This could even be your first. Believe me, there are people out there who've never purchased them before. I know it's crazy, but it's true. So this is a great palette, really workable, really wearable for a light medium skin tone, and you're going to get a lot of use out of it, but only if you don't already own these shades times 3 or 4. We then have the Fox palette, which I think is the most exciting of these 3 confirmed for this collection palettes, because in here we have 5 brand new shades. So we have the Solar Glow highlighter, we have the one seen before shade, which is Lucid Glow blush. That was in the Ghost quad, and it's also in my custom quad because it's one of my all-time favourite blushes from Hourglass. It's a stunning one. We then have Desert Light finishing powder, Canyon Heat blush, that stunning Amethyst Haze blush, which looks like nothing I've seen from the brand before. That stunning, rich plum, gorgeous. And then we have Bronze Fusion, which is the bronzer. This is definitely the deepest of the 3. Tricky to say whether this or Swan is deeper because we're seeing them in different lighting, so I'm not 100% sure of that, but this is the deepest of those 3 confirmed palettes for sure. And of course it has the most brand new shades. So for me, this is the most exciting because I do own a lot of these palettes. That one is like my #1 pick because we're getting 5 brand new shades and one that I know I absolutely love and hasn't been seen as many times as something like Mood Exposure or Dim Light. So now let's take a look at this outlier, this cheeky little Swan palette that has somehow hidden and gone underneath our radar somehow. This looks kind of in line depth-wise with the Fox palette, but it doesn't have the marbling, and the marbling can really lighten how rich products actually are on the skin versus a solid colour formula from Hourglass. So perhaps this might be deeper than the Fox. It remains to be seen, but we have the colours for this, and we have 4 brand new shades in here and 2 repeat shades, so not bad. And especially as the repeated shades are the finishing powder and the bronzer, which I feel like that's fair enough. You know, there's only so many tones we can have of bronzer and finishing powder. It's the blushes really that we want new shades of. So in this palette we have Dim Light, which is a permanent single standalone shade of the finishing powder and has also appeared in numerous palettes including Elephant and Leopard. We have Natural Bronzer, which was in the Evil Eye palette. We then have 4 brand new shades. The highlighter, which is Golden Hour. That sounds intriguing. Can't wait to see a swatch of that one, brand new for this palette. And we then have 3 brand new blush shades for this palette. We have Luminous Coral, Sunset Flush and Mauve Fusion, all brand new blushes for this Swan palette that who knows what it means. So again, this one is really exciting for me. You know, I really like the Natural Bronze shade of bronzer. I could take or leave Dim Light, to be honest. Like I could take or leave all of the finishing powders. They're just not something I use. But then I get 3 brand new blushes and 1 brand new highlighter. So again, this one I'm really excited for. So there we have all of the shade names confirmed for these 3/4 palettes that are incoming from Hourglass. So I do have quite a large collection of Hourglass products, so I'm going to share swatches of the shades that I have from each of these upcoming palettes that are re-promoted or previously existing shades. So I have all 3 of the previously existing shades from the Dear palette. So we have the Dreamlight finishing powder that came from the Dragon palette. We have Diffused Bronze Light, which is that permanent standalone bronzer. And then on the bottom we have Iridescent Strobe Light, which again is a single highlighter, and I got from the Luminous edit. That was like a limited edition 3-pan like a year ago, roughly. So these are 3 of the shades that will appear in the Dear palette, and the other 3 are brand new shades that of course I don't have. So moving on to the Horse palette. Now unfortunately, because I skipped these palettes altogether in 2021, I don't have Glistening Bronze Light or Supernatural Strobe Light, but I do have everything else that's going to be in the Horse palette. So here we have the Ambient lighting powder for Horse, which is Soft Light from the Elephant palette. We then have Mood Exposure, which is a permanent blush and in many palettes. We then have Iridescent Coral from Elephant and Iridescent Rose from Leopard. So you can see this is going to be quite a light, soft palette for my medium skin tone. Really beautiful shades, and this blush from Elephant is one of my favourites. Gorgeous. So we will have these 4 shades plus Supernatural Strobe Light for the highlighter and Glistening Bronze Light for the bronzer. So there's only 1 previously existing shade in Fox, and that is Lucid Glow Blush, which is one of the shades I chose for my custom quad and also comes from Ghost. So this is the only shade that we have seen before in the Fox palette, and it is a stunning blush, one of my all-time favourites. And then for the Swan palette, there are only 2 previously seen shades, and I do have both of them. We have the Dim Light finishing powder and Natural Bronze, which I have in the Evil Eye palette. So these are the 2 shades that we've seen before, Dim Light and Natural Bronze, which I do love because it isn't super warm like some Hourglass bronzers can be. It's a lovely neutral bronze. gorgeous shades. Okay, so there you have it. Those are all of the details and information and shade names and packaging for all of these upcoming palettes from Hourglass. Whether or not we'll see Swan launch with these other three, who only knows. As I said, would expect these to launch around September, which gives us plenty of time now that we know the shade names to make our choices, not to panic buy them, to decide how many of these shades do we already have? Do I really need another one of these palettes? Likely the answer is no, you don't need them. If you have more than one already, I'd say it's a want, not a need, isn't it? So really only you can decide whether you want to invest your money in more of them or not. Now, we don't have a confirmed price point for these palettes as yet, but they do go up a little every year. I think last year they were £90, so I'd expect these possibly even to be 95. This year certainly they will be a minimum of £90 and up. I would say we wouldn't see an increase. If we do see an increase of more than £5, I'd be flabbergasted. I'd say hopefully it's going to be more like 92, but maybe they'll just kick it up to a nice round number, 95, and call it a day. Wouldn't surprise me. So that's kind of the amount of money that we're going to have to invest if you want to grab one of these palettes. As I did say throughout the video, these have been selling out rather quickly. Usually there's a more popular palette. I think this year the most popular out of these will be Fox, because it has almost all new shades, and the one not new shade is a really popular one that we haven't seen a lot of. If Swan also launches with these, I think that will also be a very popular option. Those are also the two that have a little bit of depth to them in comparison to the other two, so anyone with a more medium and deeper skin tone will lean towards those two, and they're also the two that have the most new shades. So those will, I think, likely be the quickest to sell out. Usually, like I said, the most popular sells out quite quickly. So if you are desperate to get your hands on these, you can't hang about. They haven't in the last couple of years restocked them. It's been like, once they've gone, they've gone. They do typically launch on Hourglass's own website first, and then they usually do go to retailers. But again, that's all dependent, I guess, on how much stock they have, as to how many retailers they go to and how much stock those retailers get. You can't guarantee it. I would always err on the side of caution and order from the Hourglass website, because you're going to have like first dibs there. So as always, I will keep you posted once we get a date. If we get a date, last year we didn't, they just arrived. I will of course always let you know as soon as they're here and share the link with you so that you can grab them as soon as possible. But we luckily, you know, thank goodness for leaks, to be honest, because it allows us to prepare, it allows us to find out the shade names, it allows us to check our collection and see what we have, so that we don't just buy all three in a panic and a flap and we don't know what the shade names are, and then we realize we already have them and we really didn't need them. So you've got the gift of time now, okay? Use it wisely. I will most likely pick up all 3 or 4 of these palettes for review purposes. Please know that that's like not normal, okay? I'm not trying to encourage that. That's literally just for my job, for review purposes, and the point of me doing that is to spend my money so that you don't have to, and to show you the comparisons and to help you choose your favourite, as opposed to encouraging you that you should buy all 4, because nobody is going to need and be able to use all 4 of these palettes. You only have one face. I don't know if you knew that. So of course, if you want and have the means to buy all 4 and it's not going to cause you financial strife or regrets, or, you know, shopper's remorse, then that is absolutely your choice. And if you just love makeup and that's what you want to do, that's absolutely fine. But please just remember that it's not necessary. It's not something you have to do. It's not like what's even really expected. You know, Hourglass gives us 3 or 4 varieties, and they probably just expect us to pick the one that we like the most and that speaks to us the most or suits our skin tone the most. No one's expecting or requiring you to buy multiple of these. And just keep that in mind. It might feel like everyone's buying them all, but that's probably mostly because creators will do that for their video, for comparisons, and it's really helpful and useful for us to have all 4 palettes to compare, and for future videos like this, when you have all of the palettes and you can show your audience all of the shades and you know what's been in what palette before, that's all useful information for a creator. But it's not necessary for everybody to do, so please don't feel pressured to buy them all or any of them. You know, skipping is absolutely a valid choice. As excited as other people might feel for it, if you're not, it's not speaking to you, it's not for you, and you save your money for something that's going to give you a lot more joy. So there you have it. Those are all of my thoughts on these new palettes that we got these very lucky sneak peeks for. I would really encourage you to support these smaller sneak peek accounts on Instagram. As I said before, a Meet Beauty Talk, the gorgeous Dora, my friend and amazing supporter Tavia at Chic Profile Official, who has had her account deleted 4 times at least, I think, by brands taking her down for posting the same exact photos and information that Trend Mood has been up and garnered this huge amazing audience for. By the way, I don't know if this video will make it seem like I hate Trend Mood. I don't. I love Trend Mood. I love that account, but it is incredibly unfair that she's the only account who's allowed to post sneak peeks with no repercussions, and these smaller accounts who are working very, very hard and usually are the source of Trend Mood's information and photos get their account banned and copyright struck and taken down on a frequent basis. It's really unfair. So we need to support these smaller accounts so they can grow and have more support behind them when they come across these issues from brands just like Trend Mood. So there you have it. Those are all of my thoughts on these new / upcoming Hourglass Holiday palettes for 2025. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you did, I would love you to like and subscribe and be a part of our lovely community here on my page. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.